Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us today. This is the last event of the first day of Discoverfest, and it's been a total blast. And we appreciate everyone who's been joining us. And also, I know I have learned so much today, and we're just going to keep it going. So, my name is Jonah. I am from Discover, and we are talking today to Soph Avalos, and we're going to be talking about how anyone can create an online course that sells. How are you doing, Soph?
Yeah, pretty good. Excited to end off what was and is an awesome first day.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I'm really excited about this event. I've since working for Teachable, I wanted to start courses for years, but then since working for Teachable and listening to all of these creators walk you through how more accessible it can be than you think it is, it's just been a blast. And in the last few months, I've come so much further than I thought I would. So excited to as well see from Teachable itself how you can do this and the different methods present. And so today, for everyone watching, we're going to go through the 7 proven steps you should take to turn your skills into a profitable online course. And we'll also walk through real life examples of successful Teachable creators. And a little background, Soph is a customer success expert at Teachable who takes pride in helping creators reach their potential. They have helped creators make over 400,000 in the last 6 months, which is kind of bonkers. And everyone,
I mean,
please.
people sell themselves, right?
Yes, yeah, but the having a platform that allows them to do it is so cool, and just the whole process. And for everyone watching too, please feel free to hop in the chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from. We already got Simon tuning in from Outback Queensland, Australia, which is awesome. Alex tuning in from Germany. Love that you could just access this from all over the world. And also a couple other expectations: we will have a dedicated Q&A at the end of the presentation, so if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. But if we don't get to them during the presentation, we will in the Q&A. And also, if Sophie's moving quick or you have to get up away from the computer for a second or anything like that, there will be a replay available. It's going to be here on the YouTube page. It's also going to be on the Discover event page, and it will be emailed to you along with the offer link today after the event if you RSVP. Now, so I don't want to take up any more time because I know you got a lot to show us, so I'm going to hand it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Jonah.
Yeah.
All right. So, like Jonah was saying, welcome to how anyone can create an online course that sells. We're super excited about this session because, like I said, we're going to walk you through step by step what you need to do to create a profitable online course. Now, we know the positive impact that online courses can have on people's lives and businesses, but so many people never start or they procrastinate for way too long because they think that it takes months or even years to create an online course. There's a much faster way to do this, and that's what we're going to show you today. You're going to want to stick around to the end because we also have a special surprise for you. So to start off with introductions, like Jonah was saying, my name is Soph Avalos. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm a customer success expert here at Teachable. I've been with Teachable for almost 2 years. In February, actually, I'll have my 2-year Teachiversary. Came very quickly. And I spend my time helping creators maximize their revenue so they can do more of what they love. This training is going to be great for you if you have an idea, a passion, or knowledge to share. You can be a creator, coach, or a tutor looking to expand your offerings or reach more people. You may be looking to take your offline business online, and of course, you're looking to diversify the ways that you make money. Today, I'm going to teach you how to generate a reliable stream of income so that you can continue to create and scale your business. You'll learn how to grow your audience and reach more people without overextending yourself, as well as how to monetize your loyal following, maintain their trust, and do so much more. Now, our goals for you are to become a thought leader in your field, build a strong audience and client list, and to, of course, monetize your knowledge. Now, today's agenda is going to go as follows. You'll learn why courses. You'll learn these 7 proven steps to launch your course, which has been used by over 100,000 successful creators. You'll learn the 3-step process to choosing your profitable course topic, real-life examples of successful creators, and last but not least, our famous 8-day launch strategy, including a full launch calendar. Now, some helpful tips for you today include grabbing your pen, paper, opening your notes app, just being ready to take down anything that you find helpful because we're going to be covering a lot. Please feel free to chat in with us. I've got some amazing colleagues who are online and ready to answer questions in real time. Also, please feel free to take screenshots at any point. A photo will always last longer. Now, the million-dollar question: why online courses? As an independent business owner, creator, freelancer, and leader in your field, chances are that you're facing specific challenges in launching and growing your online knowledge business. Well, courses can solve those challenges faster. Now, you may be wondering why online courses are so impactful. This is due to the fact that many people can create courses as their sole full-time income, but also courses can give you a steady stream of supplemental income so that you can use your time wisely, make money quickly, and reach a larger audience. One of the things that has blown us away at Teachable is the diversity of topics and all of the really interesting things people make a business out of. We've seen people succeed with courses on things like blacksmithing, podcasting, cake decorating, and way, way more. The past year alone, bread making has been a huge topic of interest. I still need to learn how to make my own bread, but at least I know I can find an amazing course on it. If anybody else has made bread in the past year or 2 years, please let us know in the chat because I'm really super impressed by that. Now, we're also continuously amazed by the diversity of all these super cool topics and the fact that people are able to build a really profitable business out of it. The second reason online courses are so impactful is the fact that you can scale. So if you try to start a podcast, write a book, or these types of things, which are really great, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't do them, but they can take a lot of time to create and launch, and you have to keep creating new content all the time, compared to courses where you can get results relatively quickly. We see people creating their courses and launching them in a matter of months. What's great is that right at that point, you have a digital product. So you don't have to keep reinventing the wheel every time. You can simply sell the same course over and over. Another great case for online courses is that it helps you carve out your own space. Creating courses allows you to establish yourself as a thought leader and allows you to show people that you're not just passionate about a topic, but that you can also teach it and help people get results in that area. And lastly, you're likely in your field of business because you're passionate about the topic. So the nice thing with courses is that you can create an additional revenue stream so that you can focus on the things that you want. If you're a freelancer, you can say yes to the projects that make you happy, and not just because you have to do it to pay the bills, but because you have the extra time to take on projects that you're passionate about. All right, so I think that we should just get into the nitty-gritty now, which is the 7 steps to launching a profitable online course. I know that's the reason that you're all here today. Now, how many of you have been looking for a way to grow your business and do so quickly? I'll give it a pause here. I can't see all of you out there on the internet, but I'm going to assume that you're all raising your hand. The number one takeaway that I want you all to have today is that creating a successful online course is doable in a short amount of time. So you don't have to wait a year or more to be profitable. All right, let's get started. We've broken down the process into 7 manageable steps. Not a high-level overview. I truly mean the 7 steps you need to launch a course. As a team, we've witnessed more than 30,000 course launches. We looked at the data, interviewed our top earners, and realized those with the most success were all using a similar process. And here it is, the 7 steps. This is definitely a slide that you're going to want to take a screenshot. So I'll leave this slide up here for a moment so that everyone can take a screenshot, write down the notes. These are the 7 steps. So step 1, we need to come up with not just a good idea, but a profitable course idea, ensuring there's a demand and ensuring there's actual interest before you create it. Step 2, we need to set your income goals, meaning what do you strategically need to have in place in order to hit your financial goals? Step 3, we're going to talk about growing your email list and your audience. Step 4 is all about pricing, so knowing how much you should charge. And there's actually a very important step here that a lot of people miss. Step 5 will be about creating a course and a high converting sales page. Step 6 is actually recording your course, what you would say in the videos, how you'd structure them. And the final step is all about launching. And this is where we're going to give you a full marketing plan. Before we dive into step 1, finding your most profitable course idea, I want you to pay very close attention to these 3 categories of people, and I want you to see which one you fall into. So the first group is you're excited, but you have no idea what you want your course to be about and no idea where to start. The second group is, maybe you do have an idea, but about what you want your course to be about, but you really need help refining that idea and tweaking it. And then the last group, you have tons of ideas for your courses and you just need to figure out which one is going to be the most profitable. Now, feel free to write in the chat 1, 2, or 3 if you fall into one of these categories. We always like to see where people are in their current journey. And I'll take a quick look here in the chat, type 1, 2, or 3, depending on which category you fall into. And again, 1, you're excited, but you don't know what your course is going to be about just yet. 2, you have an idea, but you need some help. And then 3, you have tons of ideas, but you just need to figure out which idea is the one. I see lots of 3s in here. This is awesome. Wow, a lot of 3s, a lot of 2s. Everybody is ready to get it. All right, that's awesome. And we'll get right into it then. Now, I want you to pay close attention to this slide because I want to circle back to the topics that are successful on Teachable. For a lot of people, it may surprise you. We have seen topics from watercolor painting, meal prepping, cooking, to language learning, dancing. The list, it really just keeps on going and going. So if you are a business owner, a teacher, a coach, you'll probably find that your course will be about something you're doing every day. But just know that if you are doing something like, let's say, coaching clients, having a course in place will allow you to scale what you're doing so much more than you currently can. Now, there are a few myths that we do need to debunk before we get any further, because this is what holds a lot of people back. The first myth, which you might be thinking right now, is I have to teach the primary thing that I do. So if I'm a web designer, I feel like my course has to be about making websites. If I'm a baker, I have to teach people how to make cupcakes or my famous cake recipe. As humans, we're multidimensional and therefore multi-passionate. We found that for a lot of creators, it's hard to put all of their interest into a single box. So we really encourage people to explore their passions. There's a topic that may not be your day job, but it's something that you want to explore more and build up. For instance, if you're a cooking instructor, you can have a specific course on how to make pasta for beginners. If you're a graphic designer, you can show people how to create logos or how to plan out where their logos can be. If you're a computer programmer, you could teach a course on the basics of a programming software. If you're a content creator, you have a bit of an advantage here. And by content creator, we really mean if you have some type of an audience already following your work, then your course could be based off of the most questions you receive or certain topics that receive the most engagement or get the most traffic. Now, that's really something to pay attention to because that could be the key to what you should be focusing on for your course. Then myth number 2 is, well, I can't teach this because there are so many other people doing what I do. There are all these huge entrepreneurs, huge creators that are experts already teaching this. Who am I to start creating a course? This is one of the most interesting realizations we found when we started the company. And we find that a lot of people at first could imagine their course, they could see their name on it, but the self-doubt was holding people back. We find that really fascinating about the power of online education is that people want to learn from those whose journeys remind them of their own. Very often, your specific journey, who you are, your story, your point of view is going to make you a better teacher for a lot of people. Every person is the perfect teacher for someone. And the power of online education is we all get to learn from teachers whose stories we resonate with versus somebody who, maybe they're super proficient, but we just don't see ourselves in them. Myth number 3 is thinking if I offer courses, well, what happens to my one-on-one services? If you're a freelancer or a coach, there are a few ways that courses can actually help you grow your one-on-one business. Now, I imagine that your one-on-one rates are definitely going to be more than your courses. This means that if you're a coach or consultant, your courses could be a great entryway for someone to come in and learn from you until they're ready to afford your one-on-one services. Or let's say you're a freelancer, you could use courses to help people with customer onboarding. And lastly, myth number 4 is that more information in your course means that you're adding more value. And I'm just going to say this now, less is more. And I know we say that all the time, but it really is true in this case. You don't need to add 80 hours of content in order for something to be more valuable. If you've ever taken an online course, the key for a successful course is that you're able to help someone get an outcome in the least number of steps. I want you to keep that in mind because, again, this can be simple and it can be effective. But to the point of focusing on the outcome, no matter how good of a topic you come up with, no matter how many people are interested in a specific area, the only reason why someone is going to take out their credit card and purchase your course is because they're invested on who they will be at the end of your course, their transformation. So what you want to do is think through the following. What is the specific outcome and what is the transformation that students are going to go through? And it needs to be really specific. So what I want us to do now, if you have a piece of paper, a pen, if you have your phone out, take some notes. I want you to start a huge brainstorm and idea dump. Really think through all the topics that you would potentially love to have a course on. You're thinking through not just the primary things you can do, but also the secondary skills that you have, the questions that people seem to ask you over and over again. At the end of each of these thoughts, write what the outcome is. For example, let's say I had a course on painting. What would a specific outcome be? Would I want it to be, how to paint a specific type of flower? Would it be a certain technique? Start to do that for every single idea that you write down. And then I want you to scan through that list and see which is the most impactful transformation, which is the one that really stands out, where you can say, oh, someone would definitely want to pay to achieve that outcome or transformation. When you have that, then you know that's the one you want to start with. Save this list for later, though, because they're all really good ideas. We're simply starting with the idea that has the most potential. All right, so that's step number 1. And you're probably thinking, that was only step 1, so that took so long. There's so much more to go through. But this is intentional because we want to ensure that you have a strong foundation to build off of. Now we'll go into the second step, which is setting your income goals. Before you launch your course, you really need to understand there's a very simple formula you can follow and implement so that you strategically know what you need to have in place to hit your financial goals. And this is it. A lot of people will go into a course launch or any product launch, and they'll say, I hope that I can get 20 people to join. I hope that I can make $1,000. But there's really no planning or thought that goes into what they'd actually need to do to get there. Now, this formula you can use to actually know that. Now, we need to know what your revenue goal is, what it is that you'd like to make with this course, and then work backwards. We need to establish how many email subscribers you need on your list, and email specifically. So if you have a following on social media, the numbers aren't going to be the same. Email is going to convert higher, so we're going to be using that. Now, to use that, we need to establish what your conversion rate is. A conversion rate is the percentage of people that turn into paying customers from your list. And then, of course, the price of your course. Now, you don't need to have a big list to start earning an income and be successful with courses. In a later step, I'm going to show you how you can grow your list. But first, let's go through an example so that you can see how to implement this formula in real life. So let's say your course is priced between $100 and $300. Now, if you just clenched up in your seat and you felt like that was an incredibly high price, we'll come back to this because that was very intentional and you're choosing this price. But let's go through the example first. So let's say that you want to make $1,000. Working backwards, we're going to say that your course is priced at $200 and your conversion rate is 2%. And that's actually an industry average. And in fact, it's considered a really good rate. I would much rather that you're conservative and use this number than you think that half of your list is going to buy your course and then you're disappointed. So working backwards, as you can see, this would mean that you'd only need 250 people on your list. Now, if you've opened up a new tab and you're scrolling through Instagram right now, I want you to really come back and look at this. 250 people or 5 people on the entire internet would have to purchase your course to make $1,000. I think this is so helpful and to see in writing because a lot of people feel like they need to have tens of thousands on their list to start making money, and that's just not the case. The next question you're probably thinking, well, where do I find these people? How do I grow my list? So let's just dive right into that. What's interesting here is that every single successful course creator on Teachable has grown their list in the same exact way. If you know anybody who did it differently, let us know in the chat. So the way to do this is to give something away for free. And I know you must be thinking, how is giving things away for free going to make me any money? Well, I'm about to explain, because this is a tried and true method to exchange free content or a piece of your course for someone's email address. And we've compiled the 3 most powerful and proven strategies that we've seen work over and over again. Method 1 is an old-fashioned downloadable or checklist. This is great, and I think a lot of people overlook this because they think, why would anybody want to opt in for a checklist? But really what you're doing here is offering a shortcut. We have an example here with Wit and Wire. They have a podcast checklist that goes through everything you need from naming your podcast, choosing equipment, recording, and they basically just list out all the things that you need. We also have Tiffany Tolliver, who has a free downloadable that is the 7 mistakes you're making on your website. It's very simple to put together, but it's very effective. The benefit that you get here is that you're going to cultivate the right relationship and bring people to your list. The second method is creating a mini course with content that is aligned with your audience. Now, I recommend this to clients a lot, and it's actually a really low effort way to make a big impact. So let's just say you have a full course that you're going to sell. For example, about how to land a tech job. And let's say that there's 10 sections in that course. What you have to do is take a piece of that course, maybe one of the sections, and offer it for free as a mini course. This is really great as you'll already have the content from the full course and you're simply creating a teaser. So you don't have to, create something from scratch. Now, the main reason this is so impactful is that if somebody decides to opt in for a free mini course on this topic, they're most likely going to be interested in your full paid course. Because look, you don't want to just create a huge email list to anyone. You want to have an email list of people who are genuinely going to be interested in what you're offering. An example of this is from creator Abby Ashley. She has a course on helping virtual assistants book out their schedules. What she does is invites you to a free training, and then at the end, she sells her paid course for people who are ready and want to take it to the next level. Another great example is Benny Lewis. He has a free email course. He doesn't record videos. He actually delivers content directly to someone's inbox. And what he does at the end of this is that he promotes his course for $97. With so many courses, there's a lot of ways that you can start to find that initial group of people that would want to opt in and take it. But here are some specific things that you can do. If you're a content creator, you can include the free training on your blog. If you have a podcast or social media, you can promote it there. You can promote it on forums like Reddit. You can answer people's questions and promote it on places like Quora. Now, this one is one of my favorites because it truly takes zero effort. You can offer it in your email signature. So just think about that. Think about how many emails you're sending every single day. Now add in that link to your free content, and that's tons of people who are going to see it, click that link, take your free content, and now they're on your list. Now, when you launch a free mini course, a few things actually happen here. One, you'll start to see that you're putting people in this free mini course in a matter of days or even, weeks, depending on how long you promote it. But you're really starting to build a strong audience because you're helping them get to these mini wins, these mini outcomes just from a free course. And so you're delivering value. You're building a genuine relationship with your audience. And if you're just starting out, you can use the feedback that you're receiving from that mini course to help you sell your paid course. And then method number 3 is a webinar, much like what we're doing right here and now. A webinar or a workshop is a great way to be able to deliver value to your audience and help them get an outcome. Now, although your workshop or webinar is free, make sure that there is some type of outcome that people achieve at the end of it, regardless of if they purchase your product or not. Now, I really want to stress this because this is super important. It's key. And I'm sure you've attended workshops where you probably felt like you didn't learn anything, you didn't develop trust with the creator. And so that's why, so you're probably thinking, why are you there? And so that's why when you create your workshops, ensure that you're still teaching them something. And when all is said and done, you're going to have a group of people that are engaged and they're getting these mini wins. And then, of course, a percentage of those people are likely going to be interested in buying a paid course. But before we get into that, keep this list in your back pocket because I want to get into one very important step before we talk about how to launch a course and how to generate sales, which is pricing. And I think this is probably one of our biggest questions that we get. How much should I price my course? So here's something that might actually surprise you. The best way to hit your revenue target from what we have seen from our creators is using premium pricing. Now, when I say this, I mean that you have to think what your audience would consider a premium price for your industry. The average price of our top 10 selling creators is around $272, but we see some courses that are even more than that and up into the thousands. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to charge $272, but you do want to ensure that your course is at the higher end of what other people are charging. And you may be thinking, why do we do this? Well, for starters, it's easier to hit your income goals because you don't have to have as many sales premium pricing. Your students are actually going to get better and they're going to feel more engaged. So here's your homework. Look at the landscape, do a bit of research, and see what the average price that your audience is used to paying for something like this, and ensure that you're on the higher spectrum. And then the next step would be to create your school and a high converting sales page. Now, when it comes to creating your course, there are a few common concerns that creators should and do have. And these are things I want you to keep in mind. The following are things you should be able to do. 1, look professional. You should be able to achieve that really easy. You shouldn't have to learn a bunch of code. It shouldn't take you hours to create your sales page or your content because at the end of the day, you want to create your content. It shouldn't have to take you a lot of time. 2, you should be able to customize it so it reflects your brand, and you should be able to have a custom domain. Now, this is important because you want to have a seamless experience from people going from your website to your course, from social media to your course. And on the other hand, having a custom domain will add a credibility booster. It's also just significantly easier for your audience to remember. 3, and now your course needs this. This is not nice to have, it's essential. And it should be mobile optimized, which, just means mobile friendly. This means that if we were to go to your course website on a phone, tablet, a computer, it should all display nicely and it should be easy for someone to go through your content. Number 4 is make sure you have total control over your student data and emails. Now, this is a comparison to what you might see with a lot of marketplaces where people will advertise for you, they'll market your courses for you, but in exchange, they own the email addresses and all of the data of your students. They can promote your competitors' courses to your students. You really don't have control that you need as a business owner. So ensure that however you set up your course, you have full control and access over that. And lastly, make sure that you can accept payments on day 1. And this is how and why Teachable got started. You can do all of those things on the Teachable platform. Now, once you've decided your platform and you know that you have all of these things, we need to talk about your sales page, because your sales page is where you're going to send people to purchase your course. And it's also the place where you're communicating the value of your course. It's where people will make a decision if they want to invest in you or not. There's actually 6 key components for a successful sales page. And the first one is your title and description. Now, this is above the page fold, which means that before someone scrolls down, they're seeing this. And it should be very, very clear what the outcome of your course is in the title and the description. So here I'm going to use Pat Flynn's course, Power Up Podcasting, as an example. The description of the course is a step-by-step course to launch a successful podcast that gets found and grows your online brand. Now, this is super clear. So if anyone's on the fence, is this course for me? They don't have to scroll and keep reading through the page. They'll know immediately. Then below that, we have the video. And a video is probably one of the most impactful things that you can have on your sales page, because it shows people that there is a real person behind the course. We found that sales pages with a video convert 5 times higher than sales pages with only text. I want to say that one more time. Sales pages with a video convert 5 times higher. I know it blows my mind every time I think about it. Now, this video, it doesn't need to be professionally filmed. You can record it on your computer or on your phone, and all you really need to do is just talk to your potential customer and explain why you created this course, why you're passionate about it. You could talk about some of the things that they'll be able to achieve, their transformation. It really does not need to be fancy, but it should show people that there's a real person behind the screen. And now we have a course description. This is a part of your sales page where you're talking about what's actually inside the course. Now, a mistake a lot of people make is that they'll just go through and they'll share the different sections and lectures. What you want to do when you're listing out the different sections inside of your course is you'll want to also describe what the outcome is that they'll achieve at the end of every single section. Because again, people are really paying for that transformation. And then we have testimonials. Now, I think for the most part, people know that it's a good idea to have testimonials on their sales page. But what most people do is that they'll go out, they'll reach out to their customers, maybe some of their peers, and they'll have them write some nice words, and that's it. Now, this is great, but it doesn't actually help someone make a decision on if they want to invest in your course. So instead, what I want you to do is to record an interview with a person and ask them some questions, such as, what were they struggling with before they joined the course? And this is to connect with the main pain points that your current potential customers probably are going through right now. Then ask them what their hesitations were before joining the course. You can ask them what the outcome that they achieved after taking your course. And finally, have them describe what their life looks like now that they've achieved this outcome. Because again, when you hear that somebody has gone through a transformation and it's a transformation that you want to go through, that's everything. And then lastly, for your sales page, payment plans are huge. I can't stress this enough. Hopefully everybody here is going to be using premium pricing for their courses, which means that you also need to consider that not everybody can pay for that full price upfront. So what you can do, and what I encourage you to do, is to offer payment plans. You can split it up into 2 or 3 payments, and this just means that it's more accessible to people without devaluing your course. This is a huge plus for your course reaching a wider audience and just, being more equitable. All right. So we are now on to step 6, which is creating and recording a course that people love. And we'll just dive right into it. So please, please, please know that this should not be complicated. It should not be overwhelming, but how do we actually go into creating a course and planning out content in a way that's actually going to help people get to the outcome that you're promising? So what I want you to do is to start off with creating an outline. Start with what the specific transformation or outcome you're providing students, then working backwards. And you'll see through this presentation, there's a lot of working backwards. So you're going to map out, what does somebody need to do every single day or step by step in order to achieve that transformation. Now, if you find that you're struggling with coming up with what the steps are, where you say to yourself, oh man, like there's so much I could include in this, it might be because your outcome is a little bit too big or a little bit too vague. And if you do find that, just revisit it and see, can I make this even more specific? Each step in your outline will then become a section. And you're going to want to keep it between 6 and 12 sections. Otherwise, it can become, a bit overwhelming for your students. Then with those sections, that's where you can put your video lectures where you're teaching people and walking people through it. For your video, some of you might be naturals. You might know exactly what you want to say, how you want to plan it out. But if not, a foolproof way to do this is to answer 3 questions in every single video. So you kick things off, you say what your student's about to learn to set the stage. Then you transition and explain why it's important. Now, we often miss this because the thing is, even though someone invested in your course, they're excited about the outcome, they might not actually be excited to watch the specific video. You can say something along the lines of, this is really important for you to understand because it's going to allow you to do X, Y, Z. And then you show them how to do it. And the most important thing is that every single video you have has to provide a clear outcome. And again, less is more. If you find that you have more than 12 sections, maybe you need to get a little bit more specific. And when it comes to the actual video, like how to deliver it other than just talking to the camera, what you can do is use tools like PowerPoint or Keynote. It's very similar to what you're seeing right now, where you have slides on one side and then, you recording a voiceover or maybe even your video on top of it. You can use tools like Camtasia, ScreenFlow, QuickTime, StreamYard, the list goes on and on. You could even use Zoom, all of these tools, they just allow you to record your audio, share your slides, or just have you on video. Now, if you don't want to do that, you can also include interviews with experts, cheat sheets, case studies, supporting materials, toolkits, a lot of things that you can do outside of just video-based content. However you decide to do it, just ensure that you're not stressing yourself out or spending tons of money. It really does not need to be expensive or complicated for it to be impactful. Now, we're ready to get to the final step. This is the step that most people are waiting for. This is the part where you see your sales coming in, you're promoting your course. So we're diving into the launch. Let's stage and determine, what does launch mean? In this case, by launch, really all it is that open and closed enrollment period for when you're selling your course. People are not going to be able to join your course at any point in time, at least not yet. For this launch, we have to have a set timeline for when someone can join. There's a firm deadline. The easiest way to launch a course is actually to do it in 2 steps over 30 days. Now, this is really important because most people, and a lot of people that I've worked with, they'll create a course up front, they'll promote it, they'll post it on social media, they'll email their list. And what they find is that people are probably not actually ready to join their course and they're launching to crickets, which you don't want. So let's break this up into 2 phases. Phase 1 is what we call the education period. This could be, 1 to 2 weeks, but really however long you're planning to market this. What you're going to do in this phase is everything we talked about in step 3, growing your email list. This is where you're giving away amazing value and you're growing an engaged audience. So whether that's promoting your checklist, your mini course, you're doing workshops or webinars, at the end of this phase, people are going to know that you can help them because you've already helped them. You've already given them these mini wins, these mini outcomes. And you're going to start to generate a demand for your course because they're going to see that you can help them with this specific topic or pain point. Now they trust you because you've actually earned it. Then at the end of this phase, you're going to have a captive, engaged audience, and there's going to be a percentage of people that are eager and excited to take it to the next step, to get more guidance, which is when we get to phase 2, which is actually the launch. Now, for your first launch, I would keep things small. You could launch to a few hundred people and start to see some meaningful results. This launch period actually occurs over 8 days. And every single day of those 8 days, you're going to send an email. We'll address this in just a second because I know for a fact there are people thinking 8 emails over 8 days, that's a lot of emails. Now, there's an intention behind this. It works, and we're going to address how in just a second. What you're going to do is on day 1, this is the pre-launch phase. And so you're sending out an email to everyone and you say, look, I'm excited because I have a full course around the corner. You've been going through these mini courses or checklists, and I'm excited to share more about it. Stay tuned. They can't actually buy anything yet. You're building that buzz and releasing a teaser. Day 2, you can talk about what's inside the course, what the outcome they'll achieve is, and what their transformation will be like at the end of it. On day 3 is when we officially walk into the sales phase. So you'll send out an email and invites people for a time that they can actually enroll into the course. Day 4, you'll send out an email that answers FAQs, which will be addressing objections people might have to purchase your course. So these could be things such as how long the course is going to take them to complete, if they need to invest in any other tools or materials, if you have a refund policy, questions like that. Now we have day 5. This is where you can sprinkle in a surprise bonus. And so you can say, hey, if you join now, you'll get this exclusive bonus. Day 6 is now a really good time to share some testimonials that you've been receiving in advance. Day 7 is where you make the logical argument for why your course makes sense. The way you do that is simple. You can say, look, my course is not for everybody, but it is for you if, and then you just fill in the blanks. And lastly, day 8 is when you say that enrollment is closing soon. And this is the last chance that they can buy and that they should buy soon. This is what the calendar looks like. And this is another great time to take a screenshot. You can send fewer emails, you'll probably still get results, but the advantage with sending these 8 is that it's tried and true. We've seen that this works. So again, this is a great screen to take a screenshot of. It's good to have this in your brain when you're going through your launch schedule. Now, here we have a testimonial from Lee, and it's about everything that we just shared. Lee had attended one of these workshops and implemented everything that you just learned and ended up actually growing his list to over 1,400 people. And it's definitely way more now than it was then, but he had a final sign up of 244 people in his course. Now I'll say that again to really put it in context. He was only expecting 50 to 100 signups, but he finished with 244. That's over double what he was actually expecting. Now, I'm not going to say that these results are typical, but they do illustrate that if you implement things that we've shared today, you are going to get results. Your knowledge business awaits now. I really hope that this workshop and going through the steps and seeing some of these different case studies has shown you that you can do it and that there are so many possible topics that you could be successful and profitable with. And really, I think the biggest takeaway that I hope you get is that it doesn't need to be super complicated. It doesn't need to be super expensive in order for it to work. And we have seen that it's doable in a short amount of time. Now, for some of you here, you're watching this and you're thinking, this is great. This is exactly what I needed. I already kind of knew how to launch a course, and I just want to be reminded of the steps. And if that is you, I would love to hear what it is that you're up to. And so please tag us at Teachable on social, let us know what you're up to. But there are a couple of other people that are probably thinking, okay, this is great, but I've already forgotten what step 2 is. I've never done this before. I've tried to do it before, but I didn't get the results that I wanted. And you're wanting a bit more support. If that is you, there are 3 things that will be helpful in order for you to hit your goals and be successful: the tech, the training, and the accountability. If you have all 3, you're likely going to be able to do this. For those of you that do need a little bit more help, we're going to ensure that you walk away with all of those things today. And now you're probably ready for action. And what we have done is that we've decided to give everybody who's watching this webinar this webinar right now that we're all in, decided to give you first access to our Black Friday offer. And this offer, it doesn't even go live until Friday. So you can get a head start on creating your online business just in time for 2022. Now, by joining Teachable during our Black Friday offer, you get up to 58% off annual plans. Now, we only have this sale as big as this one once a year. So now is a really great time to join. And if you've been thinking about it for a while, if you're still not sure, I'd say, try it out. And within 30 days, if you're not happy, we'll give you your money back, guaranteed. More than 100,000 creators have earned money sharing what they know on Teachable, from coding to email marketing, cake decorating, and more. Like I said, bread baking is huge right now. So the sky is really the limit, honestly. Outside of the discount, which is the biggest discount of the year with Teachable, you're going to get unlimited students, unlimited courses, unlimited hosting, which means that you can run your business the way you want without limits. You have access to a course product as well as a coaching product. In fact, a lot of people will have courses and offer coaching to their students in different offers. We also have many other features that will allow you to grow your online business and be successful. This is the gold standard. There is nothing holding you back. We've actually helped 54 people last year make $1 million on Teachable. And really, this is all you need. Now, I also want to highlight how our product handles all of these payments for you in two specific ways. One, improving your conversion rate and the amount of money you can earn, accepting all payment methods and currencies. That's right, all currencies. You guys are going to be international sensations in no time. And then two, we also do everything like taxes, compliance, all the painful things about running an online business that ends up falling on business owners. We take care of that for you so that you can focus on what really matters, which is creating a valuable experience for your students. The next thing that we do is provide you with training. So if you like getting step-by-step guidance, what we have done is created a flagship program called Teachable U. And it's based off of data, things that we've seen actually work with creators, and we put all of this into a full program. And lastly, we give you the accountability you need to turn your ideas into actions. Some of you might be sitting here thinking, I actually kind of know what I need to do, and I already know that I want to use Teachable, but that's not really the issue. The issue is that I've been sitting on this idea for a while, and I think it's because I need support from the community. I need that accountability, the ability to talk to people who actually understand what it is that I'm going through and what the online course journey looks like. Now, if that sounds like you're going to have access to Teachable HQ. And we split this up into 3 tiers: founders, innovators, and leaders. And so what this actually means is that you're going to be grouped with other Teachable creators at the same level of business as you. And this is really great because you're going to be going through the same parts of this journey together, and you can share insights. And like I said, we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, no questions asked. And I truly mean no questions asked. I started my career here at Teachable on our amazing customer support team. So I can tell you firsthand that if after 30 days, Teachable just isn't for you, you can reach out to us, let us know, and we'll send that refund over to you. Now, are you excited to join us and take advantage of our biggest sale of the year? If so, you can go to teachable.com/first access to take advantage of our Black Friday pricing and get a jump on creating your course. And like I said, just because you're here live with us today, you get first access to our Black Friday offer, which doesn't go live until this Friday. And so you can see this offer at teachable.com/first access. And so, I'm happy to take the rest of the time today to dive into the Q&A. So feel free to post your questions in the chat, and I'll be happy to answer them. Oh, hey, Jonah, I think you're on mute there.
I sure am. That's not going to work. Thank you, Soph. It's so cool to see really the various success stories and all the different places that people are finding new new course opportunities and how easy it can be. I know there's already a couple questions I did want to pose to you, and for everyone watching, please hop in and ask any questions you have. We have a little bit more time with Soph to dive in. But I thought right off the bat, I wanted to ask Nancy had a really poignant question, I think, because a lot of course creators are also thinking about business to business as well as business to customer. So they were asking, much of the info seems mostly relevant to business, like business to customer, but do you have any specific suggestions for business to business?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So a lot of clients that I work with, some of them will be B2C, some of them will be B2B, and actually a lot of them are both. And so all
Mm,
this really is a flexibility in how you're advertising and how you are creating your content on the back end. And honestly, a lot of that is through couponing. And so that may not make sense right now, but when you are in the platform and you're selling B2B, let's say you have a business, business A, they're like, hey, we need 1,000 seats. Let's hope that, right? Because that'd be great for everybody. So let's say they want 1,000 seats. You can say, hey, here's a pricing plan made specifically for you. Please use this link to purchase. And once you're done with that, I'll send you 1,000 unique coupon codes that your employees can use, or you can send me their information and we can manually upload them. So there's a lot of options that you have.
mm, mm. And then so also I guess just to tag on, like when it comes to like marketing to businesses, are there different approaches? Like how do you grow an email list knowing that you're marketing to businesses?
Yeah, so I think a lot of that is just showing what it is that you're offering. And so what some people will do on the platform, and this is a little bit more nitty-gritty if you haven't been in Teachable yet, but when you create your sales pages, you're able to create multiple sales pages for the same product. And so what people have done is they'll have sales page A that's specifically for customers, and then sales page B that's specifically going out to businesses. And so when you are
Mm,
marketing or
mhm.
creating email funnels, one page goes to one type of person and one page goes to a different type of person.
Right. So you can, within the same course, you can be more
Mhm.
targeted about the marketing aspect. That's super cool. And then somewhat relevant as well to just like how it's all organized. Do you have to have a separate domain name purchased for each course or just one for the whole academy?
So this is a great question, and it's actually just one for the whole academy. And so what's really cool here that I love to tell people, because honestly, a lot of people nowadays they kind of have their own websites, they're doing their own thing on the internet already, and so all you actually need to do, like Teachable will give you a domain. And so let's say your school was like bestcupcakes.teachable.com and your
Right.
website was bestcupcakes.com. If you wanted to, you can just really easily make a custom subdomain. So it could be courses.bestcupcakes.com, academy.bestcupcakes.com. So it's actually like a lot more simple than you think it is.
Right. And Linda, having gone through that process, also you have like separate sales pages so you can direct people just to those. You don't, it all works out to be very like targetable depending
Yeah,
on,
yeah. And it's like
yeah.
it's super seamless. And so anybody who's coming from your website, they're gonna already know your website name. And so putting that courses or academy, it's a no-brainer as
Yeah,
far as I'm
it
concerned,
worked
at
easy.
least.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, and then this is a great question because I think it gets a little more into like marketing tactics, but why do courses have to be sold within a certain period of time, or can you just leave the enrollment open?
Yeah. So this, it comes down to kind of where you are in your online course journey. And so if you're really early on, you want to have these open closed enrollment periods to give people a sense of urgency. Because what we find is if somebody has the opportunity to purchase something at any point, they're going to put it off. And I think we all kind of do this, right? We're like, oh, I got to buy this thing, but whatever, I'll come back to it when I can. But with open and closed enrollment, that is not going to be there. Instead, they're going to see it and they're going to have to take action immediately. And so that's why open and closed enrollment really works. Now, as you continue to grow and scale and down the line, maybe you may have like a lot of people who are really interested. And then at that point, you can have an evergreen model where your course is just always open. But at least in the beginning, you do want to have a little bit of a sense of urgency added in there.
Well, and so I'm curious if you do leave your course open, are there other tactics like get the course, like, do sales work equally as well for enrollments and just like extra motivators, maybe extra downloadable aspects? Or
Yeah, they do. And so a lot of this has to do with, times of the year as well as what your marketing strategy is. And so people sometimes will go through, you can buy the course whenever they want, right? So let's say it's 199 all the time, but they go through cycles where they're doing either a discount. If you buy now, you'll get X amount off, or, for the next 2 weeks, if you purchase, you're going to get extra content. And so, even if
right.
you have something that's always available in the background, you're still going through, 8-week periods maybe of offering different incentives.
Right. And so you can almost develop, the course is always available, but you're still managing to get the urgency out there.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Love it. Very practical question. Does the basic option come with a funnel?
Yeah. So when you create your teachable school, you're going to have the ability to create tons of different situations and funnels, and all of that really comes down to those sales pages, like I was saying. And so people have really created, I think off the top of my head, I think you can create like 25 sales pages per product. And so that's how people really create their funnels.
So you have all individual different targeted sales pages for the same
Yep,
course.
exactly.
Yep.
Or people will even like A/B test a page. Let's say it is B2C. They'll have two that are going out at the same time, and they'll see which one works better, and then they'll just keep the one that works better. And so people are
Right.
constantly doing this over and over.
And it's super easy. I've built those sales pages. They're super easy to do. So it's totally worth testing that. I think it's a really cool feature. Yeah. Interesting question. Outside from Wendy, outside of the launch, do you recommend paid ads and that kind of stuff?
So this is a really good question. And this is another one where it kind of depends on where you are in your current journey. If you are really new, paid ads might not be the best thing to start off with. But let's say your course is already selling, it gets a lot of traffic to begin with, but you just want to give a little bit of a boost, then yeah, paid ads would be great. And what I usually recommend are two things: one, social, and then one, search. And so if you're huge on social media, like Facebook, let's just say, you'll run a Facebook ad, and then maybe you'll run like a Google ad so that your course shows up and when somebody searches on Google. So that's usually like a good way to think about it.
Well, and this is not to contradict anything you said, but like I would highly encourage you, Wendy, to go watch the event right before this. It was Ashley Messingill, and she's brought in $100,000, or not 100,000. Sorry, that was a student of hers. She brought in $1 million in like 40 minutes and has never paid for an ad in her life. So if you can be comfortable with marketing in certain ways and being authentic and putting yourself out, I think you can avoid a lot of that. But just a 2 cents that, yeah.
No,
I
mean,
have to have some
agree as
giant
well.
budget to do that. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's ads. I think paid ads is something that sounds really lucrative because you're like, oh, it's going to, my ads are going to show up. It'll do the work for me. But yeah, a lot of times like creating those genuine connections and those like genuine funnels that you already have going, you may not need them.
Right. So just working down the line, Janice is asking, how would you compare Teachable to Udemy?
Well, this is a good question. And honestly, what I will say is that Teachable, I think I mentioned this earlier, we're not a marketplace. And so you own all of your IP, you own all of your student data, you have options for so many different types of pricing plans. And so how I would compare them is just that Teachable gives you significantly more ownership as well as more flexibility over what you're going to be teaching, how you're going to be teaching it, honestly, just all of those things that you're not going to get with the marketplace.
Yeah. And Janice, I can just second that. Like when I was trying to make the choice, in the long run, Teachable is helping, I believe, you build a business beyond just selling a course, because you get all of that stuff and the emails and everything. It's really cool. I just appreciate it. And then this is a good question too. If we load our entire course into Teachable, can we package different segments like up for free access, giveaways, or stuff like that?
Yes. So this is like a great question, and I could go into this in like a million different ways. But what I will say, like the kind of short little answer here is when you do create a course, there are so many things that you can do. And so one of those things, the part of this question was about can we segment different parts for free access? And so what you're able to do on your sales page, we have a section that shows your curriculum, and you're able to set some of these lectures as free previews. And so you don't actually have to segment that into its own course. You'll make, a few lectures a free preview
Mhm.
on your sales page. People will be able to click that free preview, see that lecture, but they won't be able to see any of the other content. And so that's a really, really easy way to give free access to some of your content that's not necessarily fleshing out a full mini course if you don't need it. But what you can also do, which is also part of this question, was like you can definitely do coupons. You could definitely, duplicate your course and cut out only the parts that you want to be for free. I mean, you really have so many options. There's like not enough time for me to even go into
Right,
all the different
right.
things that you can do.
It's super flexible. Yeah. And just work it out. Can I have two different courses and different topics in one academy?
Yeah, I mean, technically you can. And so this is another one of those questions that really depends on what your school topic is overall. And so you definitely can have multiple courses that are on different topics, and maybe they're not all exactly the same, but what I would recommend is that your school still has to encompass all of the courses that you want to teach. And
Mm,
so it can't like I don't necessarily recommend teaching, one cooking course and then another course that teaches you how to like use Excel. Like that's maybe a little bit too far away from each other. But you can definitely be flexible with how you want to set up your courses in different topics as long as your school covers what that's going to be.
right. And so, but do you think you could tie together if your overall thing was like, if your branding was just like growing as a person? I know that's really vague, but like you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
then do what you want.
Yeah, that's a good one
Just
actually.
a,
Like if your school, like literally if your homepage was like, I'm going to teach you all the different facets to help you grow as a person, then yes, technically
could do
the
whatever.
sky's the limit. Yeah, you can really do whatever you want. So like that's definitely an option. If you can finesse that, I'd be very impressed.
Me too. Yeah, I'm not. Just to be clear, not saying that's a good idea, but
Wait, it's possible.
but you could. Um, and then one more question from Nancy. Can you talk a bit about the coaching option? I know this is a little bit newer, or just the ability to bundle and everything is a little bit newer. So,
Yeah,
can you
of
educate us a
course.
bit more on that?
So with courses, you're creating a course, maybe you have a coaching product that's like one-on-one. And so what you're able to do now that's relatively new is you can have bundles. And so let's say let's go back to this cupcake example. So you have how to make the best cupcake. That's your course. You have a one-on-one coaching to help people make that best cupcake. And then you have a bundle. And so let's say your bundle is the course as well as the coaching. So all you're actually doing here is creating like a basket where you put in that coaching product that already exists and you put in that course that already exists and you offer it for a slight discount than if they were to buy them individually. And so what's really
Mm,
great here is that when somebody comes to your sales page and you do have a bundle of that nature, you can say, hey, do you already know that you're going to need one-on-one coaching?
mm.
Sweet. Just buy the bundle below. You'll get both for a discount.
Right. That's really cool. Yeah. And then here's a good question just for relative to this. If you are already a Teachable like member or signed up, can you still take advantage of these specials?
So I'd recommend writing into our team at promos@teachable.com and they'll take care of you there.
Awesome. Awesome. And then and one more, I think we got just, well, two more questions here, but Janice had another good question. Does Teachable actually build the school website, or are you provided with templates? Like what level of involvement is it to build your like sales pages and stuff?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So if you don't have your own website, we technically you can create a fully fleshed out website on Teachable. And so we'll give you extra pages where it could be like about me or here are all my affiliate links. But when it comes to those sales pages, so like any page that's attached to a product, like a course sales page, a coaching sales page, a bundle sales page, we do give you a template that gives you an idea of how your sales page could look. And so when you go through it, you are going to see a preview. And every time you create a product, you're going to see that preview to give you that idea. But what I would also recommend is if you do want to see some really great sales pages, if you go to, I believe it's teachable.com/examples, I think it is, you'll see some really great sales page examples. But we do give you that template.
Awesome. And I think that wraps up our questions for today. Thank you so much, Soph. And just I just don't want to miss anyone. We got one extra question popping in. Just do you pay a separate fee for each school? Which is good because it seems like people.
So
yes, right.
This
so
is a
not
good question.
per
Sorry
course,
that
right?
Yeah, per school. Sorry that my camera is a little bit blurry. Sometimes it kind of goes in and out. Sorry about that.
Oh, is
but
it?
This
I
is a
just
great
figured
question.
it was. Yeah, sorry.
It just happens sometimes. I don't know why. But if you want to have multiple schools, and so like let's just clarify, one school can house all your products, all your courses, all your coaching. But if your topics are like day and night, maybe you want to have 2 schools, you do have to pay 2 separate school plans. But for your second school, if you write into our support team, you can get a discount on that second or third or fourth school. So it's really important to know.
Right. Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Soph. We should wrap up just for time and everything, but you've been so informative and it's so cool every time to learn about. It's fun to hear from Teachable all the things that are working because you all are looking and how are creators doing this and what's working and what's best. So, last question I would ask kind of before we wrap up is just like, what is the best resource that you have or best advice you have for someone wanting to go out and build a course and they've seen this and this is all really helpful, but like sitting down tomorrow and the first steps to take to like start on the process and not just continue saying every day, God, I should make a course?
Yeah, of course. So I like to say this to pretty much all of the creators that I work with. And it's a little bit multi-pronged here, and it might sound a little bit cheesy, but you just kind of have to really invest in and believe in yourself because once you really feel good with that and like you're telling your friends, you're telling your family, you're telling everybody, I'm going to do this course. Now you have all these people who know, and there's something about that that really helps you take that plunge. When you don't tell anybody and you keep it to yourself, you can always push it off. And so like that's a really big piece that I like really, really, really recommend to people, but something that's maybe a little bit more tangible would be to actually sit down and create that outline, because it is astonishing how much more you do when you have an outline that gives you a direction to move forward in.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much. And for everyone watching, thank you for joining us and engaging and being part of this conversation. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to the Discover YouTube. We're trying to bring more creators and people from the back end of Teachable like Soph out here to teach us more about the course creation industry and just grow the community of all these creators in general. And yeah, thank you so much for spending this night with us, this day with us, wherever you are in the world. And if you've been to multiple Discover Fest events today, thank you so much for joining us. It's been quite an awesome day. And also check out the link in the description, both for this discount Black Friday offer from Teachable and for a full schedule of Discover Fest. We have at least 4 events every day this whole week. So there's a lot of potential you can take out of it. And thank you, Soph, and thank you, everybody.
Yeah,
we'll see you
of
all
course.
soon.
Thank you, Jonah, for having me.
Of course.
See you, everybody.